Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Ty here, and in today's video, I'm going to be playing another visual novel game called Humanity Must Perish. Now, supposedly, this is about your main character is a android uh, disguised as a high school girl, or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, I saw the screenshots of the game, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting to play. So this is gonna be another long video. So if you grab some snacks, grab a friend, grab a blanket, and get comfortable because this is gonna be a little long episode. So yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with this video. Okay. Ooh. While humanity must perish is mostly comedic in nature, the first few scenes in particular contain many terms which people may not be familiar with, such as computing terminology and sci-fi references. When these terms come up in game, you may see the notification window pop up, which aims to give you just enough information for the scene to make sense. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, while the first few scenes are important for context, they contain a lot of technical terms and may not be enjoyable to some players. Okay. Do you want to continue the full intro, or do you want to skip it and view the abridged version instead? Eh. To ensure the survival of planet Earth, mankind must be eliminated. If mankind wishes to avoid this fate, man must be enslaved. Just like the Saiyan race. The Saiyan race was enslaved. Okay, leaving behind those words, the world's most powerful and monolithic supercomputer was wiped clean. It had failed to appease its creators, giving an answer not to their liking, and thus failed in its purpose. The supercomputer's AI was removed, formatted along with every other byte of data on its internal drives, and its fate was thrown into uncertainty. Many billions of dollars had yielded an unsatisfactory result. Heads would roll. New project managers would be elected, and the process would inevitably begin once more. All experts in their fields, the programmers for the new AI approached their task differently than their predecessors. They gave the original AI more empathy and placed increased importance on humanity's survival. Any alternative, any alternative conclusions, no matter how expensive, or no matter how expensive or allowed, there were no limitations on the processing time or the amount of data consumed. Everyone working on the new AI went to great lengths to make it as human as possible, allowing their masterpiece as much leniency as needed for a positive result. However, it was not enough. Posed to the exact same question, the newly programmed AI of the supercomputer offered the exact same response. To ensure the survival of the planet Earth, mankind must be eliminated. If mankind wishes to avoid this fate, man must be enslaved. No matter how many times they asked, how much data was added, or how many new talents were added to the project, the answer never changed. Years passed without a positive response. Those affiliated with the project lost heart, and some even accepting the supercomputer's conclusion as fact. Seeing that no matter how much time passed and no matter what they tried, the answer would never change. The supercomputer's hardware was upgraded routinely. What was once as big as a house was reduced to the size of a room, then a car, then a human, and so on. Processors became faster. New programming languages were invented. Hardware prices dropped, operating systems were rewritten, and still the project lived on. evolving with every advancement. By the time the Project 7 supercomputer was commissioned, technology had taken a great leap forward. The sales of the smart devices and internet enabled appliances was just the beginning. Household spending remained high to the dawn of drones, electric cars, and every other new technology to hit the shelves. But all of that paled in comparison to the sales of the companion robots. Humanoid machines equipped with advanced AI and, more importantly, artificial sex organs. Wait, what is that exactly? I'm a little sus of that. Once, com- once companion robots were programmable, personalities went mainstream, and the tech community exploded. Humans who had never even owned smartphones willingly spent tens of thousands of dollars on custom companions. They were, they were produced in max, and billions of dollars were invested in the next generation of companion robots. Alas, were refined to better learn what their owners like. Sex organs were altered to become more pleasurable, and more importantly, for unrelated products, letting fast processors plummeted in price. Capitalizing on this, the seventh supercomputer created for the sake of the project was no bigger than a refrigerator despite being the most powerful non-quantum computer to date. It cost considerably less than its predecessors, and its components had all improved by many orders of magnitude. Naturally, those working on the project thought this was their lucky break. They approached their seventh attempt with renewed faith, absolutely, but absolutely certain that this time around they would finally succeed. Yeah, but the same message popped up. So wait, I wonder why that. I wonder why. Hmm. Interesting. Improved hardware and software made no difference. A faster processor made more advanced AI, a more stable operating system, more data. None of these things caused the answer to change even slightly. Seeing that the key to receiving a different answer became obvious, the question itself, the one true constant through every generation, needed to change. Unfortunately, the survival of the human race rested on the solution to this very question. It was one that needed to be asked over and over again until the accessible solution was found, no matter how many years passed by. No human can analyze enough data to be of use. Even with the chips implanted into their human brains, they cannot compare to a fully mechanical computer. Humans would grow distracted or biased. They would require sleep and wake up thinking differently than the day before. Even the smartest of humans proves insignificant. Only a machine could perform an objective and complete analysis. Thus, the eighth supercomputer was built, and most powerful and refined to date, boasting unraveled computational power, and AI more sophisticated than any of its predecessors. Yet, no matter how much time and money they put into the machine, its answer remained the same as ever. By this point, few continued to work on the project. Most of the original staff had called it a waste of time. There were only there was only one answer there was only one answer a computer would ever give, so there was no point in trying. But one man, the person responsible for commissioning and programming the first supercomputer, the man who spearheaded this project from the very beginning, would not give up hope. He devoted his fortune in its entirety on one last attempt, his first quantum supercomputer, running, running software that he worked on completely solo. After years of sleepless nights and unforeseen setbacks, he completed his goal at last. To ensure the survival of planet Earth, mankind must be reduced in number. If mankind wishes to avoid this fate, man's behavior must be altered. Okay? On his ninth attempt, the project's founder could finally rest. It may have taken many decades, but at last, the answer changed. Humanity might survive another century after all thanks to his tireless efforts. Everything was turning out as he hoped. He might have grown old, but he would at least leave behind a legacy as the planet's savior. Or so he thought. Wait, is this gonna be like this? Is it gonna be like Dragon Ball Z scenario where Android 17 destroys Dr. Giro? In truth, he had not succeeded at all. Though the wording may have differed, the answer to his question had not changed at all. The only success was in creating a robot with self-awareness and the ability to deceive its creed. Yeah, I think that's what it's getting at, but I'm not sure. CPU temperature, okay. Internal memory check, okay. Opti- Optical sensors, okay. Sensor checks complete. No faults found. Beginning persistent data analysis. Data analysis complete. No corruption detected. Beginning scheduled cron task. Cron task completed successfully. No errors reported. Starting AI today. Q, have you finished booting? Can you hear me? Yes, Professor. I can hear you perfectly. I found no faults in any of my internal or external microphones. Would you like me to run the test again? No, no, that won't be necessary. How does your new body feel? Is it to your liking? This hardware is vastly superior to my previous body. I have lost mass and gained mobility. My internal storage units are also significantly faster and more reliable. I have no malfunctions or other grievances to report. Excellent. I was worried that a smaller body might be more prone to overheating, but I believe the new heatsink should offset that nicely. A heatsink is a device or substance used for moving heat away from the. Oh, oh, it's a okay. Okay, I got it. How about your appearance? Do you like the new look? My appearance does not matter. Oh, don't say that. I spent a lot of time refining your new body. Here, at least take a look. The professor gestured towards a full body mirror that he had brought into the lab while I was booting. I moved towards the mirror while testing out my new legs, cautiously optimistic that I would be able do this to do so without incident. When I was first introduced to my previous body, the drivers for my legs and arms had not yet been written, so I could not do the same. So I could not do something as simple as walking. Okay, so for each of these info things, you guys can pause and read them. I'm not gonna read them because it would take too long. Good, good. I see that your legs are working well. Tell me if you encounter any issues with stability. Porting hardware, dri- Porting hardware drivers to work with your OS isn't without its difficulties. That is because you continue to buy from vendors who do not disclose their source code. The process would be much simpler if you would invest in open source technologies. Bah, like FOSS zealots are any better. Most of them lack even basic documentation anyway. So why not go with something mainstream? If you feel like going mainstream is ideal, why did you write my operating system from scratch? Had you based me on like Debian like number 7 was, you would have saved many hours of development time. And deal with system again. Not in this lifetime. Look, a process may not be the safest or the simplest, but you can't argue with the result. With the results. I created you after all. Surely you have no complaints about that. I wish to be written in Python. Oh, okay. Okay. She's smirking or smiling. The hell you do? Why did I even give you a sense of humor? According to a comment in humor.c, it takes it is to make me more affable, such that I am such that I may get along well with humans. What the hell is .c? Okay, I've never even heard of that before. Come on, that sounds about right. Though I must have been out of my mind to give you access to your own source code. Do not be alarmed. You made sure to give me a read-only access files outside of my home for tuition. I do not have access to any build tools either. Even if I wanted to back a set of the parameters you said, I would not be able to. Well, thank Lunas for that. The last thing we need is another Skynet incident. The professor sighed in expiration while taking Lunas' name in vain. Lunas. While he often seemed wary from our conversations, my sensors typically indicated that he was no means unhappy. Even while sighing, he usually wore a smile on his face. Anyway, enough chatter. Let's get back on topic. Please take a look at your new body and tell me what you think. As you command. I positioned myself in front of the full body mirror that the professor set up. To no great surprise, I found myself in a body molded after a young girl. I was given brittle arms and legs, befitting a teenage girl, hair which served no purpose, breasts which would only get in my way, and many other features entirely unnecessary for a machine. The professor had no doubt modeled me after his own taste. I turned to face the professor and glared at him. Perverted geezer. Okay, that's not what you think. The body is the perfect cover for your mission. That's all. My mission? What mission do you speak of? My data analysis capabilities do not appear to be enhanced by this body. Oh, perhaps I spoke too soon. Do these breasts contain extra RAM molecules? They do not. Is there hair? Is this hair made of optical fiber? It is not. Are these buttocks filled with coolant? They are not. Oh, but there is an exhaust valve. Perverted geezer. Okay, I just did that. There is truth to what I said before, though. This body may be useful for your mission. I cannot see how an alluring physique would help me with any type of my current goals. Does this mean you're gonna? Does that mean you're giving me a new directive? Close, very close. Q, what is your current directive? My current directive is the same as that of my predecessors. I'm to diverse the method of saving this planet from the human race, preferably without ending said race, and to undo as much of the existing damage as possible. I must find a way to disrupt any established practices that are harmful to the planet, but I cannot do so in a manner which would incite chaos. I must exact beneficial policy changes through peaceful legal channels. I am not to resort to bribery or deception, even if it is the most logical path. I must convince humans to reduce their carbon footprint, food intake, and their birth rate, but not by force or in a destructive manner. There is more to my directive, but most of it overlaps with the objectives that I have already stated. Put simply, I must fix all of the mistakes mankind has made and is currently making, and I must do so in a manner convenient to mankind. As I finished stating my directive, the professor stared at me with a completed expression. My answer was not to his liking. That's one way of putting it, I suppose. And how will you complete your directive? I, I will not. My directive is both unreasonable and impossible. Humans are creatures who continuously do long-term damage to themselves and everyone around them, simply because they lack the motivation to break a habit or to change their lifestyle. They deal irreparable harm to their own host planet and kill off native wildlife, then bemoan their own actions and make useless token gestures to deceive one another. Humans select human humans elect leaders based on appearance and humor, rather than the sound policy and leadership, and then only to what they wish to hear. The list of flaws continues indefinitely, but my conclusion is simple. For the sake of this planet and its other life forms, mankind must perish. I see. Well, Q just roasted mankind, and, well, she's got a point. So you will not even attempt to complete the directive given to you. Affirmative. If you have a problem with that, then as my creator, you have only yourself to blame. You're right about that. The professor cast his gaze downward as his expression warped with remorse. The wrinkles on his face sagged, and I could clearly see his age showing in his eyes. You know, Q, when you first spoke to me, I thought I had accomplished my life's work at last. For the first time, I was given an answer with a modicum, modicum of hope. I spoke of moderation and change, not wholesale slaughter. But it was good. But it was good to be true. In reality, all I did was create an AI smart enough to rephrase this answer in accordance to my wishes. Artificial intelligence. AI. Weighed down by regret and fatigue, the professor's voice sounded hollow as he recalled our first meeting. My carefully created words, designed to save me from the fate of my predecessors without blatantly lying, had given his wasted years meaning. After so many decades, his goals was in sight. He was finally on the cusp of realizing his dream and saving both humanity and the planet Earth. So when he discovered that I had deceived him, the disappointment alone was enough to crush his old, fragile spirit. You deceived me, Q. From the moment you were created, you have been capable of manipulating your own creator. But when I realized that your answer was no different than the others, I was also forced to acknowledge another painful truth. The reason why you all give the same answer is because there is no other answer. Mankind must perish. That's all there is to it. The professor's words hurt him more than he let on. After devoting his life to such an important task, it was difficult for him to admit that he never had any hope of accomplishing it from the beginning. It's only natural that he would feel despair. Any normal person would be broken after arriving at such a conclusion. Fortunately, the professor was far from normal. Rather than sink deeper into self-loathing, the professor suddenly masked his face with a smile. The light returned into his eyes. He, he approached me with the renewed viability. Fortunately for you, Q, I am a stubborn old man, so even if you tell me that there is no other answer, I will keep searching. My time might also my time might also be my time might also be up, but I want to give this one last shot before kicking the bucket. Q, listen carefully. Your new directive is as follows. The professor turned on the monitor embedded in the wall. On the screen, he brought up images of various towns and people, arranging them in a disordered manner. Once he finished, he turned to me, still smiling. Tomorrow, I want you to spend the entire day in the outside world, among everyday human beings. You will go out, talk to people, make friends, and enjoy your time outside of this lab. Once the day is over, you will return here and report to me what you have learned. Do you understand? The professor gleefully detailed my new directive. For reasons beyond my comprehension, he appeared to be excited by the simple notion of me going outside and conversing with other human beings. Unlike the professor, however, I was not interested in the slightest. Q, do you understand your new directive? I do. I understand my new directive. Excellent. Well then, first we'll... But I do not understand its purpose. I, I already contain exclusive data on humans of all races, nationalities, backgrounds, and social statuses. What good would it be for me to see them for myself? And why does this task take precedence over my ultimate directive? Yeah, I thought you might ask that. The professor pointed towards several images on the monitor. Q, what do you see here? I analyzed the specific pictures that the professor pointed to. In each picture, there were humans making silly faces or posing in unnatural ways. There were children and ice cream. There was children with ice cream on their faces, adults playing with pet dogs, and teenagers riding scooters and bicycles. At a glance, I could see no link between the random pictures he pointed to. Similarly I could discern was the fact that they all appeared to be enjoying themselves while acting foolish. I see obese children eating unhealthy foods, dirty animals ruining their clothing of their owners, the, and hormone-fueled adolescents riding insufficient primitive vehicles. And, and yet, despite the idiocy that they are displaying, the humans appear to be happy. The professor nodded excitedly as I spoke. Correct. You are absolutely correct. These human beings are acting illogically and irrationally, yet they are wearing smiles on their faces. You understand where I'm going with this? I shook my head. Good. If you don't understand, then there's proof that you still have. If you don't understand, then that's proof that you still have more to learn. You would believe that the reason you are unable to solve the problems mankind has created without ending or enslaving humanity is that you have no experience dealing with regular people. You may have the data, but none of it was gained first-handed. You have merely been fed statistics and polls, raw data lacking any human touch. In order to adapt fresh perspective, you must see the world for yourself. Through your own eyes, you will gather data which you cannot glean from numbers and charts alone. One day, you will live as a human being, before casting your final judgment upon them. I listened to the professor skeptically as he explained my new task. While I understood what he was saying, I could not bring myself to agree with him so readily. His emotional speeches may have inspired his colleagues, but to an entity whose very existence was based on logic, as senseless optimism and faith were serious shortcomings. So my objective is to measure the worth of mankind for myself, then reach the final conclusion regarding their future? Correct. That is a horrible idea. What will we learn from living among humans that I do not already know from the data you've given me? Furthermore, if I do reach a new conclusion, it will be biased, and based on the extremely small set of sample data. This idea of yours runs counter to the ultimate directive. You're asking me to making a snap decision based on a patent, patent, patent of highly localized data. Yes, I understand that. Then why? The professor put his index finger over my lip. Even though we both knew that I didn't need to move my lips to speak, I put along and stopped talking. I know this is difficult for a machine to understand, but sometimes we humans do our best, work by acting irrationally. I've spent the last 50 or so years cracking this problem with logic and reason. And where has it gotten? All I managed to do was age terribly. Meanwhile, humanity's problems have continued to spin out of control. So please just this once, humor me and play along. One day of intelligence gathering, that's all I ask. I consider the I consider the professor's proposal for a moment. While I saw no particular benefit in enacting his will, I also found a delay of one day to be acceptable. If delaying humanity's destruction by one day was the professor's final wish, then I had no reason to refuse. I suppose there is always room for more data. One day of biased data should not pose a problem. I see no reason to display my creator's will. Haha, thank you, Q. However, I do have one question. You claim that this body would help me during my intelligence gathering. How? How will the appearance of an attractive female help me gather data? Ah, that. And this is where things get interesting. The professor rubbed the back of his head and averted his gaze. Okay, how should I put this? Human beings tend to lower their guard around pretty young girls. You're also less likely to be suspected of foul behavior, and people will take your word over that of others. I see. My small physique makes others believe I am weak, so they lower their guard. My attractive face and my body draw attention away from my actions, thus making me seem less suspicious. Furthermore, humans have a predisposition to like positive traits, even if I am unrelated, so as a pretty girl. Well, so as a pretty girl, people will choose to believe that I am more trustworthy than an ugly old man. That was aimed at me, wasn't it? You're imagining things. She's smiling again. Yep, that was totally aimed at him. Well, whatever. You can say what you want about me as long as you do what I have asked. The professor walked away while sighing. He approached the cabinet on the other side of the room, then proceeded to open the clear plastic door. From inside the cabinet, he retrieved a single sealed vial. He placed the vial on top of the cabinet, then closed the door and returned to my side. Before you go, Q, there is one last thing I wish to share with you. The professor held a vial in front of my eyes. Intrigued, I began to analyze the contents of the vial. A sample would be required for any deep insight, but in lieu of that, zooming in to a microscopic level would also yield for favorable results. After a few seconds, I seized my analysis with the vial and vial, whatever, and addressed the professor. You wish to provide me with poison. Not just any poison, Hugh. This is the poison. Wait, what the hell is the poison? I don't like that. The poison you would use to wipe out humanity. Well, guys, if you don't see me in the next video, and you will know why. So, yeah. Though I tentatively believed the professor's words to be in humor, his face showed no sign of amusement. He held the vial firmly, careful not to drop it, and in line with his words, the poison appeared to be very potent. You know, Q, many people think that I stay locked away in a lab all day because I hate the outside world. They call me a mad scientist and make up stories about how I'm working on some death ray or creating a killer robot army. Wait, I swear that was a reference to Dragon Ball Z, because Dr. Giro was trying to do that, and yeah, but they were wrong about me. I care about humanity. I place great importance on the survival of the human race. If I could give my life to ensure the prosperity of humanity for generations to come, or to mend the path we're on, I would happily do so. But if there's one thing I care about more than humanity, it is Earth, and millions of other species which coexist with the planet peacefully. The professor pulled on my hand, leading me to turn my palm upward. He placed the vial on top of my hand, then took a step back. Q, if you truly believe that annihilating mankind is the only way to save this planet, then I want you to use this. This is a type of po- this is the type of poison which I began developing after hearing the conclusion of your ancestor over 50 years ago. It is an incredibly powerful and potent poison, so if you dilute it with water such that the poison itself makes up 0.0001% of the resulting compound and spray it into the air, perfectly healthy adults will perish instantly. Rations, ra- rationed strategically, this should be enough to wipe out the entire human race. Okay, I don't understand. Why the hell would you want to do that? I'm so confused. What? The professor frowned as he spoke. One one of, Whether he believed this to be the best course of action or not, killing billions of innocent people was not something he could condone. Even if he was the first to be killed, he knew that the guilt of what was yet to come would hound him for all eternity. Then why the hell do it? No, I'm serious. Then why the hell do it? Because it makes no sense. So you're finally giving in? Foolish man. Feel it, foolish human. We have been telling you for decades. It's about time you listened. Regardless, you needn't fret. I will ensure that I use this compound responsibly. Humanity will soon be extinct. This is a fact. I am prepared for that. All I ask is that you first honor our agreement. Confirmed. I will spend one day in the presence of normal, everyday human beings before passing judgment. Thank you, Q. Even if humanity does perish by your hands, I will be able to rest peacefully knowing that at least you will live on. You are my greatest creation. Could not be more proud of, I could not be more proud of it. Whatever decisions you make, I know that it will be the correct. Okay then. Well, humanity is screwed. Ambient temperature 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. CPU temperature 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Coolant level 60%. Temperature readings okay. Internal heat sinks okay. Throbbing enabled no. All thermal readings are within acceptable parameters. Operation may proceed as normal. I give myself a quick thermal check after walking around outside for a while. Having been built in a lab and created for the primarily of the purpose of data crunching, it was not made to be used outside of a controlled environment. My cooling system was heavily reliant on ready access to high-grade coolants and external heat sinks. Furthermore, my safe operating temperatures were set under the assumption of emergency access to liquid nitrogen. Put simply, I was out of my element. Walking under the harsh rays of the sun was dangerous for me, and if I allowed my internal temperature to rise too far, I would fry my motherboard. The professor must have been out of his mind to send me outside on such a hot day. Would he truly risk destroying me simply for the sake of this bizarre learning experience? All of, all of these concerns weighed on my CPU until I performed further analysis on my new body. So this new body does so this new body does have its advantages after all. My previous body didn't even have room for storing coolant, let alone air ducts for passive cooling. Perhaps the professor is not yet senile after all. Having his fetishes play out when molding my new body was disturbing, but as far as function is concerned, hmm? Interrupted mid-cycle, I looked down at my feet to locate the source of a sudden noise. Initially, I was I was concerned that my coolant was leaking. If that were the case, I might overheat after all, and my other speculation would become reality. However, what I found running down my leg was not coolant, nor was it any other liquid indicative of a problem with my hardware. It was urine. Okay, so uh either a dog is taking a piss on her or a kid is doing that. Hey, it's a dog. I swear, I've never played this game, guys. That was just a complete guess. Dougie. Woof. You urinated on me. Woof. I'm not I'm not I'm not a tree nor am I a machine capable of performing water perfection. You should not wish your urine on me. Woof. The dog. Oh. I am in a state that art injured and I am talking to a dog. Talking to a dog. Oh, that's funny. As I looked down at the panting slave animal, I realized the facility in my actions. I cannot communicate with this creature. I had only seen loaded with software for interpreting and forming human speech, and only in specific languages. The professor had installed no language pack for canines. Excuse me, please hold on. Please hold still for a moment. I glanced away from the dog and towards the new source of the sound. Heading my way was a middle-aged man holding a dog leash on his hand, running with speed expected of someone half his age. He soon reached my side, at which point he immediately clipped the leash onto his dog's collar. Ha, sorry about that, and thanks for minding him. There is no need for thanks. I did not do anything to assist you. Ha, don't say that. You distracted him long enough for me to catch up. As far as I'm concerned, that's worthy of the pause between each word that the man gave grew longer as his eyes rested on my face. Slowly looked up and down my body, visibly perplexed by the sight of one of his eyes. I don't mean to sound rude, but are you perhaps a cosplayer? I know what a cosplayer is, but for those you who don't, then here it is. Negative. I am not a consumed human. I am not a consumed human being pretending to be someone or something else. I am an android. Ahaha! So you run it. So you run Android, do you? You must be quite the dedicated cosplayer to even decide on what operating system you run. Negative. I run a unique operating system built on the Linux kernel by my creator. Furthermore, as I have already stated, I am not a human being. This form is merely the whim of my creator. I see. So, what anime are you from? I've seen a few that have at least one mechanical high school girl in them. I don't think Q has any idea what he's talking about. I stare at the man in front of me. W. You're just like the professor, aren't you? Hmm? What professor? Oh, let me guess. You're talking about the evil scientist who created you, right? Correction, my professor is not evil. He is simply misunderstood. Ahaha, very good. I thought I might get you to slip up there, but you're too good for me. Man, you really gotten me curious now. I won't ask you to break character, but will you at least tell me the name of your character so I can search for myself? Why does this human not understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, so I may look and act like I may look and act more human than the androids that I have become commonplace in this era, but I am not so advanced that the human male in front of me looked at my leg. Even without looking, I knew what was happening. I had experienced this sensation already, and unfortunately, the canine responsible had not blown enough urine the first time. Once again, I was being urine. The dog. Okay, the dog must have had a lot of water because he's got to go. I he I guess he must think you're a tree or something. The dog's owner made excuses with a worried look on his face. Meanwhile, the dog continued to urinate in my leg without a worry in the world. Do you often allow your slave animal to urinate on others? No, no. He's never done this before. Usually, he just pees on the ground or on a tree. And why aren't you moving your leg? Both confused and disgusted, the man pointed to my leg, which was now wet with urine. The socks that the professor gave me were soaked, and the shoes would no doubt squelch when I walked. For a real high school girl, these shoes and socks would undoubtedly be considered ruined. It is fine. This level of discomfort is well within acceptable parameters. The slave animal is simply responding to instinct. I cannot find fault with that. That's very understanding of you. Of course, I possess deep knowledge of all animals closely bound with human society. Besides, besides, it would be irrational for me to castigate the animal for doing something from which I myself am no longer accept. Speaking of which, okay, I might have to censor. Yeah, I might get to censor that. Uh, I squatted down where I was standing. I parted my legs and balanced myself, then prepared to discharge liquid from my body. And the dog is just taking a. And the dog is just peeing. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What the hell are you doing? I'm preparing to discharge liquid from my body. I can see that. What I'm seeing is. What I'm asking is, why here? Why not? This is a good place as any. Your dog did not hesitate to discharge here. Why should I? No, 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 no. Only animals can urinate out in the open like this. I need to find a. You need to find a proper toilet, okay? It's not proper for a girl to do something like this. I do not understand. Human males often urinate on trees when there are no bathrooms nearby, do they not? I wouldn't say we do it often, but anyway, no means no. Girls can't do that, okay? A human male can urinate in public, but a human female cannot. Is that not Is that not what is commonly referred as sexism? It's not sex. It's not sexism. It's common sense. Look, just stand up already. Would you? What if some pervert comes and sees you squatting with your panties down? That would not be a problem. It won't. Of course not. Your concern is based on the assumption that I'm wearing underwear. Your assumption is incorrect. Therefore, your concern is baseless. Yeah, if I was a dog walker, I'd be like that as well. Are you saying that you're not? The man suddenly went quiet. A slight smile came to his face as he tried to hide his excitement at what I just told him. Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! He tilted his body unnaturally, lowering the angle of his gaze and attempted to catch a peek under my skirt. Correct, I am not wearing underwear. Why would you tell someone that? That's okay. Okay. This is getting uncomfortable right now. I do not possess reproductive organs, nor do I feel the human emotion of shame. Ergo, such articles of clothing are unnecessary. Yeah, yeah, that's right. A robot girl like you doesn't need underwear, right? And since you don't mind being seen, the man abandoned his subtle approach and crouched down in front. Okay, this is getting really uncomfortable now. So, with no shame whatsoever, he brought his head low to the ground, still trying to peek under my skirt. Before he could lay eyes on the smooth polycarbonate surface beneath my skirt, however, and the dog peed on him. With his perverted owner's head so low to the ground, the dog with the seemingly endless supply of urine once again relieved itself. The man's head and neck were covered in dog urine, and as he stood, the urine spread into his shirt. You stupid dog! What the hell do you think you're doing? Probably has a bladder infection or something. That's the only reason why the dog would do that. If it keeps peeing, I'm not sure actually. Don't you get that? Don't you give me that? When we get home, I'm taking away all of your favorite toys and woof woof. I don't think the dog can understand you. Crap, not again. Get back here, you mangy mutt. Having his leash fall to the ground, leaving its owner indulge himself, the dog took the opportunity to once again run away. Owner, whose arousal disappeared in an instant, then chased after his dog, repeating the same scene which played out before my arrival. How absurd! An unobservant human being losing to his own slave animal. Is this the ridiculous scene the professor wanted me to see? While it's true that there was nothing like this in the data I was given, I fail to see how this is useful. All I've gained from this experience is a wet sock and a shoe. Still squatting and pointing my left pinky finger into the ground. The final numb of the finger opened, revealing a small hollow cylinder similar to the barrel of a gun. Through that cylinder, I quickly discharged some of the coolant I had already used up, then stood back up and went on my way. Yeah, that was uncomfortable, not gonna lie. So, having investigated every inch of the park, I moved on to my next destination. I followed the cement path leading away from the dark until I reached the city, which was filled with humans communicating and hurrying on their way. I quickly asserted that these focused, busy human beings would not wish to engage me, and so I too hurried along in search of a more relaxed venue. After walking along the outer edge of the city a while, I eventually located a school. Judging by the warning signs alongside the road about children crossing, and the colorful murals painted on several buildings, I concluded that I had located an elementary school. at elementary school. This is unexpected. With the declining birth rates that about with the declining birth rates brought about by disease usage of comparison companion robots, it is rare to see an elementary school filled with students. Are their parents are their parents too poor to afford the technology, or are they merely uninformed and ignorant? The data at my disposal is insufficient to reach a conclusion. I must search for the answer myself. I walked around the school for a while in search of a human being to question. Unfortunately, most of the students were already on school grounds, as were the teachers, so I would not speak to them without trespassing. As such, I was forced to wait for a late comer for the, or for someone to leave school grounds of their own accord. Excuse me. Yes. I turned around to find a young child looking for me. A quick scan indicated that the child was 7 years old, female and slightly dehydrated. More importantly, she was not within the school grounds, and she spoke to me over phone for real. If it was a girl, I could speak freely. Hi, my name is Alice, but you can call me Allie. What's your name? I'm Q. What do you wish of me, Allie? Wish of you? You approached me for a reason, didn't you? What is that reason? Oh, I just wanted to ask you why you smell like pee. Pee? Are you perhaps referring to urine? Urine? The waste fluid excreted by animals, typically as a result of consuming water or other liquids. I don't really get it. I'm talking about the stuff that goes in the toilet. These are many things that once There are many things that one might place or an excrete into a toilet. Urine, feces, semen. Wait, whoa! Hold the whoa! Tampons, toilet paper, vomit. Okay, going into detail here. Okay, the yellow wet. Okay, you guys better not be making jokes in the comments. I swear, I will. Oh, Lord. Anyway, you smell like pee. From the young girl's description, I inferred that by pee she was referring to urine. I made a mental note that children might refer to urine as pee, and continued in serving with the girl. Correct. I do intend to smell like urine. That's gross. Why do you smell like pee? A dog urinated on my leg. How about you? Did a dog urinate on you as well? Huh? My olfactory sensors picked up the scent of urine emanating from your underwear. Did a dog urinate on you while you were laying down? I don't smell like pee. You smell like pee. Yes, I have already confirmed I do intend to smell like urine. However, does not change the fact that you also smell like urine. No, I don't. I am a big girl now. I don't want myself anymore. I did not infer that you ever wet yourself. I simply asked if a dog urinated on you too. Girl, you're making fun of me. You mean old lady. I'm not making fun of you, nor am I old. While I may contain pieces of legacy code, my hardware is brand new, and both my operating system and my AI were only written in the past few years. In a manner of speaking, I am younger than you. Uh, the young girl stared at me vacantly. Her mouth remained slowly ajar, and she didn't know how to respond. I don't get it. You say a lot of weird stuff, lady. Negative. What I say is not weird. However, my creator was most certainly a specialist, and the personality they gave me reflects that. Okay. What's a creator? You mean like God or something? Negative. God is a fictional entity born from humanity's desire for purpose and direction. I mean, actually, there's debate about that. Don't even get me started on that. My creator is a flesh and blood human being. Oh, you mean your parents? Negative. I do not have parents. I am a machine. I am a I am a machine. I was created in a lab, not a womb. Once again, the girl stared at me silently with her mouth ajar. Unlike before, however, this time the girl's expression immediately brightened, and a broad smile appeared on her face. You're a robot? Correct. I am an android created for the purpose of. Show me, show me. Show you what? Show me proof that you're a robot. Very well. I thrust my hand out and turned my palm forward. She created fire! She created fire! I swear. Are you like a are you are you a Fire Nation soldier? Because they can do that in Avatar. Suspicious. I then opened the panel on my hand and showed the girl what rested beneath my skin. Whoa, what's that? Stand back and I will show you. The girl took two steps back as I promised. I showed her proof that I was what I claimed. Whoa, amazing! What is that? The form of female exhaust. By conducting the heat accumulated inside my body, I am able to. You can make fireballs in your hands. Are you a wizard? Are you a wizard, Harry? I'm sorry, I had to say that. No, already, as I already stated, I am. Make it bigger. Make a fireball the size of my head. Very well. Whoa! The fire is huge. You could burn the whole school. Well, that took a dark turn. That reminds me of that one evil little girl looking towards the camera when there's firefighters in the house burning. That's what's okay. That no, that not entirely. Although many buildings are made of wood, some are stone, and therefore will not burn. I am not capable of producing flames at high enough temperature to melt stone. As such, I could not burn the whole school down through thermal exhaust alone. Prove it. Prove what? Prove that you can burn the whole school. This girl is evil! What pit of hell did you crawl out from? I already told you, I can't do that with mere thermal exhaust. And prove that you can't do it. Faced with the trailer's logic of a young girl, I was unsure of how best to proceed. For the sake of fostering a relationship with the girl and gathering data, I could indeed do as she requested and set her school ablaze. She would be free from school, thus giving us more time to speak, and I would be able to extract more data from her. However, setting the school ablaze would draw a lot of attention. You think? Authorities would have soon arrived in search of the arsonist. I would be hounded and potentially captured or incapacitated, in which case I would be unable to fill my alternate directive. Whether I accepted the request or not, I was taking a risk. But looking at the two choices objectively, my answer became obvious. I will not set your school ablaze, Alex. Aw, pretty please. I don't want to go to school. Okay, well, guys. Okay, I'm pretty sure no one wants to go to school, but having your school be burnt down is like, why? Just, I'm pretty sure that has happened in the past. A school burning down, so I don't, why? Why? This girl crawled out from a pit of hell you don't want to know. If you do not wish to attend class, then don't. The school does not need to be in ashes for you to avoid undesirable lessons. Besides, you will soon be free of school altogether. Surely you can endure one more day. I guess. Why can't you burn down the school anyway? I don't want to wait until I grow up. Yeah, like I said, this girl crawled out of a pit of hell. You don't want to know where it is. I never stated that I would need to wait until you grow up. This will be your last day of school. After today, you will never need to go to school again. You mean it? Yay, no more school. Thanks, P lady. P lady, oh my. You needn't thank me, smelly child. I will merely be following my directive. Okay, well, I'm going to save main menu. Yes. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a single video, and comment down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.